Yo, how we doing? I want to make a video talking about the most unique moves, in my opinion, in this game. And I know when hearing that, I think most people would gravitate towards the opinion that the most unique moves come from characters that are more difficult, right? Like more technical characters. Since they have access to more tools, right? At the cost of being harder to play, they have more unique options to go with. And well, that is kind of true, but there are some characters that are pretty simple that have some unique moves. Whether it's a move from an older game that's been, kind of tweaked, or, a move that's just completely different. Or I guess not different, but like completely new. So I think to start this off, we have two basic characters on the screen, but they both have two pretty unique moves. I don't think the fact that a command grab, it's not the command grab that is unique. Characters have command grabs that, are just regular grabs, whether they give a combo or a better situation. But I'm more talking about, let's talk about Slayer. So first off, I guess the effect that it puts the character in, right? It puts them in the universe counter hit. Universe counter hit is something completely different. I guess one thing that before I keep going about Slayer, I think one thing that inspired this video idea was when I first got my hands on the patch selector for this game, where shout out to the person who made the mod. They literally commented on one of my videos before. I think it was like my Zato video that I made. They commented on it and they told me that they're the person that made it and they're like glad to see it being used. But one of the things that's funny with the more you go back in versions, you can play characters that are released now on the older versions of the game. And it's funny because their toolkit actually won't work. So like, for example, Slayer has two things I want to talk about. So he has the universe counter hit, and then on top of that, he also has, yes, pile bunker. And I'll tell you why this move is unique. So when you go on the older versions of the game, pile bunker actually won't instant wall splat. It'll just knock the opponent down. And I think that's really funny because this is something completely new. He's the first character in this game to have a move that instant wall splits. I think that's pretty unique. I think that's really cool. Obviously, it's not fun fighting when it happens to you, especially at the wrong spot, but being able to instant wall split and seeing how it's just something the game, like the devs never thought of before and then just added in with him, I think is really cool. So yes, I think instant wall splatting I think that's unique. I think it's the only move in the game that does that. So I will give Slayer his props. I think that's one of the more unique moves in the game. And then you have his command grab. This puts, them in this universe state where everything becomes a heavy counter hit. I think to top it off on why it's more unique and interesting, if you don't think it already is. Oh gosh, correct me if I'm wrong. So when doing a normal counter hit, it's all moves it does 10% more damage. I believe so. If this does, let's see. If this does 47, yeah, I think it does like 10% more. I don't want to be wrong. I think one of the things that's really cool with this is if you get a risk counter hit, which is if you build up the opponent's risk fully and then you hit them, they get put in like a heavy counter hit, regardless of the normal that is landed. Right? Okay, so you get them here, and then any hit will put them in the heavy counter hit. One of the things that's cool about Slayers is the universe counter hit, it does 30% more damage on hit, which I think is really cool. I think that's pretty unique. So yeah, that's it for Slayer. The next character I want to talk about is, I don't even want to talk about Testament. I think Stain is a pretty unique mechanic. I think it's unique, but I think it's like bare minimum on this list. Like I would be fine not including it. I mean, we've all fought Testament. We all know what the move does. I think it's basically like it's just a follow-up basically to your attack, right? Oh shoot, wrong input, sorry. You put it on them and then basically your move gets like a follow-up. It causes an explosion on everything, where as Slayers, it only counts when you hit the opponent, right? So if you put them on block, nothing happens, right? If he gets hit, it goes away. I mean, that's all like status effects. They go away when the, user gets hit. But for Testaments, it will happen on block, right? And it also happens on throw, which is something they recently added with the start of Season 4. So I think those are two pretty unique things. I unironically do believe Slayers is a little more interesting. But now I'm kind of want to get more into it. I'm going to get two new characters on the screen. and we'll go from there. Okay, so I have Happy Chaos and Asuka. So now, yeah, these are two of the more technical characters in this game. And, you know, I'll start with Happy Chaos. So what is unique about Happy Chaos? And as I know it's going to sound like boring, but this. Okay, so it's hit scan in a fighting game. It's unique. Whether we like it or not, it is unfortunately it's unique. This, you don't do this. Like, I don't believe hit scan like this should be in a fighting game, but it's a thing. I'm not sure if there's any other characters out there that really have like this type of, you know, mechanic going for them, but, you know, Happy Chaos as a character, I mean, the whole H button itself is very unique. You know, the only other character, well, one of the first games I played DBFZ, and Jiren, his heavy was just a command grab, right? Where Happy Chaos, he doesn't have a normal attached to it, it's just H. And yes, this is kind of a special move because it does chip damage. So, you know, being able to have the gun, I think creating a character, now it sounds like I'm getting more character specific, but having a character be able to combo off anything, regardless of what it is, being fully flexible to do any type of combo starter into whatever he wants it is pretty unique. And this is all possible because of this, right? You know, if you want to do, like, for example, combo off 2P into, like, whatever, right? It's all possible with, you know, essentially the gun, right? Yeah, I mean, having a character just do whatever they want because of that, I think it deserves to go in here. And hit scan, right? I mean, we've all been through hell fighting this character in the past. But, you know, having a move that just tracks like that, I mean, like I said, hit scan. Like, that's why I think one of the reviews on the Happy Chaos DLC on Steam, I think if you look at the tags, I think someone puts, like, FPS, like, first-person shooter, which is pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, it's unique, right? And it opens up, a lot of people think, I remember when he was at this character was at his peak, a lot of people were like, oh, the gun breaks the rule of fighting games, right? I mean, that's all you need to know. And then Asuka. So, he actually has the most unique stuff, in my opinion. So, I'm not going to talk about all of his cards, but I think in test case 2, these staffs are so interesting. So, okay, first you have the downwards gravity staff that, you know, pulls you down. This changes. Okay, I'll start with this one. So this one increases his jump. So you see he jumps higher. You know, he basically becomes like Milia for a bit. I think this is just so cool. I think it's sick. And then if you look at his jump, like if you know, were to look at the high jumpy staff and then his regular, you see obviously he doesn't jump as high. And then if you look at the downwards one, you see his jump now and his super jump. This allows for instant overhead, so you can do like this, right? This is instant overhead. It's 19 frame overhead. Like, stuff like that is just so cool. No character has anything like that. Like, I just think that is so cool. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's more unique stuff to this character, but I think having a staff, now, if it affected both characters, I think that would have been sick. Like, but, you know, you can't have that. That would be like a whole mini game, and, you know, it's just, no. But, you know, something that just completely changed the character and how they could play like that, I think is really, really cool. It's like an install, basically. I think that's pretty cool. And then you obviously have his other staffs, like the slow down and the speed up staff, right? This one is obviously guard crushes. Consider one of the best moves in the game previously. I mean, this character's pretty bad now, so, like, no one really cares about it, but, you know, like, this character has some stuff. And then, obviously, there's, like, the gravity staff and whatnot. I actually don't even show. We've all seen it enough. But, yeah, that's it for these. Pretty short on these two characters. There's probably one more character that I want to talk about. Like, just one. Yeah, there's one more. And then, yeah, let me go grab that character. Okay, we're here. So, this character actually has two moves that speak out to me. The first one being the ice floor. So, when I was talking about, you know, actually, I'll talk about the ice floor first. So, I think one of the things about when talking about Asuka, which is funny, is I mentioned at first how it doesn't affect the other character, right? The staffs can change the properties of the cubes, and the test case 2 staffs can change Asuka himself, but they don't affect the other person. Dizzy's ice floor affects both people. So, for example, if Happy Chaos does something like this, Dizzy gets hard knocked down, right? But obviously, if Dizzy does something that knocks you down, so let's say, what does Dizzy have outside of 2D that knocks someone? Yeah, sure, that works. We'll just do that. There you go, right? Hard knockdowns, right? I mean, obviously, you could just use a sweep too, like, but I wanted to show, like, yeah, you can just use a sweep. But essentially, yeah, you're both playing the minigame. First person to get knocked down, regardless of what it's from, gets put in that hard knockdown state. This could even be something like, yeah, I mean, a good example as well. Right? This makes a lot of matchups pretty bad for her. Like, for example, like this character and like Johnny, right? You can imagine like getting hit by Mistfinder and getting hard knocked down anywhere on the screen is like lol. Funny enough, if you play a momentum-based character like Sin, he can't, so even if you hit her with Beat Driver, you gotta imagine how Sin, the follow-up works, right? It's like he's advancing, right? It's momentum-based. It won't connect. It's funny. It just doesn't work because you're just too far. I would get Sin and show it, but he's not the topic. Yeah, funny enough, like I mentioned earlier with like the mod for the patches, if you use the ice floor in the older patch, it just doesn't spawn, like it doesn't work. The ice floor does not work. Obviously she has like the frozen state as well, but I think the ice floor is just so unique. I think it's pretty unique. I think it's really cool when you look at it. So, I mean, it also, the animation just looks great as well. I mean, it's a very nice looking move. But yeah, lastly, I just want to talk about Wings of Light. I mean, this move is just, it's funny. So when this move came out, or I guess when we were first shown the move, yeah, there it goes. So when we were first shown the move, it was like, whoa, but we saw it was 10 seconds. A lot of people were like, it's not gonna be good. I remember Kizzy was like, are you guys kidding me? Like, it literally drains, you know, how can a move like that be bad? I remember when we got our Hansling character, like, you know, people were like, it's whatever. And then I think someone like Watashi or something said, like, the move is just like it's like a taunt, like, it's just useless, right? You gotta think about what it does. It drains, it takes all the meter that you have. So if there's a way I can just put it not on auto, yeah. Let's say I use 50, right? And then let's say I like FD, right? And then I get it going. So I just wait. Yep, we gotta wait like 10 seconds. Probably like 5 more seconds now. Yeah, so it drains all of your meter in returns for doing like the whole unblockable burn damage, right? No move is like this, like in the game. Like this is when you think about it on paper, it's crazy, like, but 10 seconds is just like, whoa. And then like there's no set amount of damage it does every time. Like I mentioned, it burns all your meter. But the good thing about it is you can like, it burns even if you're like on the wall, or you're getting hit by a super, or you're getting hit by throw, like if you're getting hit by throw, right? It's pretty crazy. You just have to be worried of how you use it, right? Obviously, if you're in a state where you're just gonna need that meter, like there's no guarantee that you're actually going, you know, win off that. Even if you do manage to get off, there's no guarantee that you're gonna win off it, right? So yeah, I mean, obviously you can still build meter while you have the wings on. So and you do have a lot of time. So I guess the goal and the hope is to build the meter that you want to build before it goes off. Yeah, there is a set duration, or no, sorry, not set duration, set timer to when it does go off. But again, no amount of set damage because it's meter based, so. Yeah, the only move I can think of that uses like meter like that in this game is Asuka, his yellow mana regen, where he gets back mana using his tension, right? Obviously he uses health, or he could use nothing, but it's like the slowest, so I think that's pretty unique. Yeah, that's enough of me yapping. Let me know if you think there's other just really unique moves in this game. I'm sure you could maybe say like Anji Fish, but I don't even feel like talking about that character. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you all for watching. I'm curious to hear everyone's thoughts. And yeah, until the next time, thank you.